For over a century, the sands of Egypt kept their secrets. Not since Howard Carter's discovery of Tutankhamun in 1922 had a new pharaoh's tomb been unearthed, until now. Who was this long-lost monarch, and how could his very existence have escaped history's notice? Archaeologists have now uncovered the lost tomb of an Egyptian ruler from a long-forgotten dynasty, a pharaoh so obscure that even his name has been lost to time. This astonishing discovery, the first of its kind in generations.
Under the desert sun in Abydos, Egypt, archaeologists carefully excavated the entrance to a newly found tomb, one that had remained hidden beneath the sands for millennia. In early 2025, their international team was stunned to uncover a massive 3,600-year-old burial chamber nearly 23 feet underground. The site, a rocky bluff known as Anubis Mountain near the ancient city of Abydos, had long been a sacred necropolis. Legend holds it as the burial ground of Osiris, lord of the underworld. Few expected that such a grand royal tomb could still lie undiscovered here in modern times. Yet, as the diggers cleared away centuries of sediment, a decorated entryway emerged, its doorway lined with faded hieroglyphic inscriptions and images of ancient guardians, still watching over the entrance after millennia, leading into a series of chambers capped by towering 16-foot-high mud-brick vaults, an architectural marvel that has remained intact after 36 centuries. This was an unmistakably monumental tomb, and its age and location hinted at something extraordinary. In fact, many on the expedition believed they had already found all the royal tombs Abydos had to offer, until this moment proved them wrong. With hearts pounding, the team descended into the darkness of the tomb. They clambered down the shaft and through a passageway that had been sealed for centuries, their flashlights dancing across walls that hadn't seen light since antiquity. Deep inside the tomb, the explorers found unmistakable proof of its royal status. Part of the chamber's ceiling was still intact, painted a midnight blue and sprinkled with golden stars, a motif used only in the tombs of kings. Even the veteran archaeologists on site were moved by the discovery's significance. One field director confessed that when he finally climbed back to the surface, he burst into tears, overcome with emotion at what they had uncovered. Dr. Josef Wegner, the lead archaeologist, noted that they came upon a royal tomb we had no idea existed, evidence of what he called a lost, forgotten dynasty hidden in the desert. It's not every day that history literally rewrites itself with the find of a single tomb. Yet for all its grandeur, the tomb itself held a haunting absence. Inside the burial chamber there was no mummy, no treasure, not even a name. The pharaoh's remains and funerary goods had vanished without a trace. The hieroglyphs that once proudly proclaimed his identity on the doorway were gouged out, leaving only blank stone where royal cartouches should have been. Archaeologists could only curse the likely culprits, grave robbers who plundered the tomb thousands of years ago. The ancient tomb robbers were not always very considerate, one archaeologist quipped, noting how little evidence was left behind for posterity. From the tomb's grand design, it was clear this had been a richly equipped burial, precisely the kind that would attract plunder in ancient times. The fallen king probably ruled around 1600 BCE in the midst of Egypt's turbulent Second Intermediate period. Egypt was fractured into multiple rival kingdoms, as many as 4 coexisting rulers according to historians, and even a pharaoh's eternal rest could be violently interrupted, his name and body consigned to oblivion by the sands of time. All hope is not lost for identifying this mysterious monarch. Archaeologists are now widening their search in the sands around the tomb, determined to unearth any clue the looters might have missed. There's significant potential in the orbit of the tomb, one researcher noted. Perhaps a fragment of a stone vessel or a discarded canopic jar, still bearing the pharaoh's name, lies hidden nearby. Even the smallest discovery could crack this royal mystery wide open. Even a few broken artifacts can reveal a pharaoh's identity. Inscribed alabaster jar fragments from other tombs have borne the names of kings like Thutmose II and Queen Hatshepsut, tiny clues that confirmed their ownership. If a similar fragment lies hidden here in Abydos, it could finally tell archaeologists whom this tomb belonged to. There's even a tantalizing possibility that this pharaoh's story may yet have another chapter. Some experts suspect that when the tomb was desecrated, the king's ancient priests or descendants might have rescued his mummy and whatever treasures they could, reburying them in a secret cache for protection. In our mind's eye, we can imagine the aftermath. Loyal priests or family members returning by moonlight to the desecrated tomb, determined to save their beloved ruler's soul. Perhaps they gathered up the pharaoh's mummified body and the remaining sacred relics, then spirited them away to a safer hiding place, far from prying eyes. In fact, the expedition team has hints of where a second tomb or hidden chamber might be, a place where this long-lost ruler could have ultimately been laid to rest after all. If such a find is made, it would turn this apparent tragedy of a plundered grave into an archaeological triumph, recovering the very legacy that robbers tried to erase. For Egyptologists and history lovers alike, the implications of this find are immense. Even without glittering riches, this empty tomb is a treasure trove of knowledge, a chance to illuminate a forgotten chapter of Egypt's past. Each hieroglyph and artifact retrieved helps scholars piece together the lineage of a long-lost dynasty, filling gaps in the timeline of pharaohs. Just a decade ago, nobody even knew this dynasty existed. Now we have evidence of multiple unknown kings who ruled and died in the shadows of history. And with 2 pharaonic tombs unearthed in rapid succession after so many decades of silence, archaeologists are daring to hope that more surprises still lie buried in the sands. The desert, it seems, still holds many secrets. One can only wonder, what other long-lost wonders lie buried, waiting for the next explorer to unearth them? As the dust settles on this discovery, one thing is certain. The lost tomb of this forgotten pharaoh has proven that even in the modern age, there are wonders in Egypt waiting to be unearthed. The discovery of a long-lost pharaoh's tomb reminds us just how many rulers have been swallowed by the sands of time. But one name still echoes through history like a legend: Cleopatra. And now, deep beneath an ancient temple, researchers believe they may have uncovered the very tunnel that leads to her lost tomb.